Welcome back. My name is LastKnownMeal, and welcome to the 14th episode of the Cyberpunk 2077 Community Podcast. Today with me I have the usual bunch, starting from the left, Subsidian from the Triple S League. Welcome.
Hello, how is everybody today?
Also, the Neon Arcade
Hello, everyone.
and the MadQueenShow.
Greetings, Earthlings.
I hope everyone can hear us well. I don't think we have any issues. That is that's usually what happens when you start these.
But, let's knock on wood.
So, how has everyone been doing? Did you explore something new in Cyberpunk?
Explore something new.
Yeah.
Well, I was having some doubts about how things will work with all the information we had so far, and some questions are very stupid, but at the same time are very lore friendly.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I don't really know.
We've been getting a lot of info after E3. There was a bit difficult to sort out.
So
But
yeah, it's kind of like all over the place.
Yeah,
Definitely.
there was a couple of interviews that went out this week, and then of course the thing that I got probably the most direct questions on was whether or not the Onion article about CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 was real or not.
Really?
Oh, I didn't read that.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like the Onion is it kind of like, you know, a lot of people don't really know that it's a satirical comedy site and that nothing that they report on is actually accurate.
Well, I must confess that they should sometimes leave the comedy to specialists because
Yeah.
I think that was,
their jokes are pretty bad as jokes.
that was posted to Reddit, right? The Onion article.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they put the humor tag in the title.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that might have been confusing.
And then
Yeah,
of
I
course
think-
people will be oof.
Well, I'm sorry who's handling the call because someone is saying on the comments that I sound too loud compared to the others.
Too loud? Okay.
Yes.
You can
Hacking the
lower that
system.
down. I think you
She's
should.
hacking the system
Oh my god, she's in Discord already.
with the help of Arasaka.
It's like as soon as I actually made like the new thumbnail, and they were like, "Of course you had to put Arasaka there." I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
I like that.
We're
I like that
sponsored by
touch.
that. But anyway,
You should have put Militech just for the trolls.
ooh, are we gonna be sponsored by Militech now? Is this a change?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should choose one mega corporation for each channel. You know,
Yo,
me,
that's
Arasaka,
actually
you,
a good
Militech.
idea.
Oh, that sounds.
That's a
great.
good idea.
Oh, there's gonna be conflict of interest. Every podcast is like, Arasaka's the best. No, no, no. Wait, right there. Militech is here. Oh, see, it's already happening. But anyway, like the first topic I wanted to talk about today is romance. There has been a lot of comparisons between the romance in The Witcher 3 with, Geralt of Rivia, and then the romance and how it's going to work in Cyberpunk. First of all, like obviously Geralt was an established character, and therefore usually his choices, you kind of knew that, like this person you're going to romance. But in Cyberpunk it's different because again they stated it goes beyond heterosexuality, and the second of all, it has consequences like everything in that world. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, one
I
of the funny things that it goes beyond heterosexuality is going to be that NPCs have their own sexuality, so it may happen that they are not interested in you for that.
Oh yeah, it can be friend zoned.
Yes.
And they also like said that if I guess if you do something bad, you actually might get hated on and left by that person. I don't know if that's true, but sounds like an interesting idea to actually not just worry about the consequences of quests, but also everything you do, like in the side activities, going into bars and stuff, especially characters that might agree with the stuff you do. So that's gonna be fun, definitely.
It's gonna be really weird, and it opens up an enormous range of like character interactions, which I cannot wait to really dive into. Because imagine trying to play the evil route, and you find like the perfect character, person, or NPC or whatever that you want to like hop into the sheets with, and the person is completely against all of your moral choices, and you have to try and win them over, or something like that. That would be, I'm not expecting like, next level, like truly next level AI when dealing with that, but it will be interesting to see how that affects some of it, at least a little bit. It's something that I've only, I think, ever really seen in in a handful of like BioWare games, but also in the Fable series. And I would love to see them really expand on the, if you kill one more person by driving over them in public, I am not sleeping with you anymore. It's like, well,
Yeah.
most people would start off with just the one, but it's Cyberpunk after all.
Didn't GTA 4 had something like that, or it was completely like an NPC doesn't care? Because I think at the beginning you were able to romance that woman, and then if you start driving like a maniac, I think she leaves or something like that. So that's interesting to see it on a whole different level in this game. And there's also a post saying like friend zone in life and in game. Now that's realistic.
My question is like, how many of these NPCs can we have like super long-term relationships with? Because they've said we can have like longer-term relationships. Are like most of them gonna be short-term, and then some of them we can have these longer-term relationships with? Like, is it like what, 15% of the NPCs that we see, or is that a possibility with all of them? Because I'm assuming some of them are gonna die and stuff too, right? As part of the story. So I wonder how that's gonna play out.
Yeah, and like what are the benefits of that long-term relationship? Like how does it affect the gameplay? That's going to be interesting to see.
That's how you consider your personal relationships in life,
Oh,
how I'm going to take out of it.
no,
Yes.
but it is interesting for a video game.
Come on, in Cyberpunk, that's how you have to look at everything. What do I get out of it?
Yeah, it's a crazy world, dystopian, city. So you never know what's gonna happen. It's a crazy world outside.
Well, I have a question regarding this specific interaction with NPCs, because if Johnny Silverhand is going to be with us all the time, is he going to watch us bank all the NPCs?
Yeah.
What's he going to be doing meanwhile?
Can you imagine, every morning waking up after a one night stand, and Keanu Reeves is sitting there critiquing how you performed? I mean, the amount of memes that this could develop is absolutely hysterical. The amount of like seriously, I'm gonna start like recording like clips and using them on as like cell phone messages and stuff like that. Like send a gift to a friend just randomly. It's like, I really would have tried the other hole.
He gives you scores like, okay, this is what you did last night. I was filming because I'm in your head and I can't get away, so might as well film what you do.
or like, hey, that was really good last night. You really did good. It's clear that you're picking up from my vibe. In fact, it was so good, I already uploaded it to whatever that version of Twitter.
Braindance Hub.
Yeah, Braindance Hub. And you're gonna have to start explaining that as to how that video got uploaded to your significant other. Seriously, this is opening the doors to some really hilarious potential.
Well, considering how clumsy I am in these matters, maybe I will appreciate his advice.
What if he can like wingman you, like when you're trying to woo an NPC? Like maybe he'll give you extra dialogue options because he knows better than you how to get the ladies or whatever. That'd be cool.
Yes, well. Well, actually, he was a ladies' man, so
there you go.
Maybe yes. Maybe he knows.
Like
you read the law, and all the fucking Night City is left with him. I mean,
and then you have like Jackie helping you like side quests, romance. Like, what are you using your companions for? Wingman.
Well, as I said in a video, maybe this could be a good progression system, because we have stealth, we have shooting your way out or using melee weapons, or you can also talk your way out of situations. So how about to sleep your way out of situations?
Wingman perk.
You want information from a corporate, for instance. Well, you seduce the person and then take them to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the next morning they feel prone to explain the secrets of Middletech.
I know a lot of people were wanting Meredith Stout as a romanceable option. I've gotten so many questions about that. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, she looks like she likes hard stuff. So
I
don't
know. I'm scared of her, man.
Yeah.
It'll break you.
Well, you never know. You never know, right? It's like the you guys ever watch that movie Rat Race? You never know.
Mhm.
You might show up in the hotel, and she's like, "All right, I just filled the bathtub up with Pepto-Bismol." So you never know. You never ever know.
Man, your playthrough is gonna be interesting to look at.
Yeah, do it on Twitch.
I don't think he's
We're
gonna be doing
we're
that
gonna
on Twitch.
try.
I don't know.
One question already was asked is like, hey, will we be doing like a run through with characters with different like sexual setups, and like that's the whole point of Cyberpunk is it's like I'm gonna get everything I can, like no, not just one or the other. I'm getting everything on the character as much as possible. You know, if they have an option for Mr. Squiggly, then we're gonna go with that. If you're wondering what that is, that's the squid variant. So another question though that I do want to get to is
Wait a second.
Yeah, I
need
knew
to
you were
decide-
gonna see. This is why I was trying to change the subject.
What the hell has this podcast come to?
I need to design an in-game ad for that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going in too deep. Come on, guys. Come on.
All right. So another quick question here that's being asked by Antivist. I can't pronounce that. Gaming is asking whether or not we're gonna see what kind of multiple endings are we looking at, and this is something that I don't think we've gotten very much, if any, confirmation on yet at all. We know that they've said, or they've promised, that after you complete the main mission, you will still be able to play. So I surmise that this means that our character isn't going to die at the end, like Fallout 3. So I would surmise
Well,
that that's probably
please
not.
allow me
Yeah,
to
yeah, go
interrupt you
ahead.
here, because there are games like Horizon Zero Dawn when you can keep playing, but you go to before the last quest.
Yes, yeah. Same thing with Mass Effect 3, and a couple others, I think. So that's absolutely, yeah. How they end up doing that, I'm not sure. I would prefer, I think I would prefer a world where it's like you go in and you do the Skyrim thing, you complete the main mission, and then you just keep playing in the world that you've built. Although my typical way of like playing in the world of Skyrim right now is that I never even start the official quest chain, just because it's boring and I've been through it too many times. And so you just load up a couple of different mods that just open up the world to you, and you just run around and do whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about the whole you're the Dragonborn thing constantly. So yeah, so that's an interesting concept, and I think you're right, Mad Queen. This probably how they'll go, because the way that the story is leaning or setting up right now, I feel that there's going to be a very hard kind of conclusion to it. But that's just me kind of like looking at it right now and doing guesswork. I was aware of like a fair bit of the story many years ago, but I have no idea how much of that's changed. So
Well, if we look at past games of CD Projekt Red, for instance, The Witcher 2 was like 2 games in one. So maybe if they went even more crazy than that, maybe we're talking about a huge ramification when it's not only the secondary quest that change, but the main quest, and it can have not only small consequences and small ramifications, but deep impact in the endings. And not only in the endings, but also how do you reach that ending?
Duchess B no in the chat has kind of followed up on what you're saying here, in which that in The Witcher 3 endings that they didn't really create a world that you could run around in that would affect that would just always reflect your ending, because there were so many and they were so broad that you could, it's just too much for a game creator to do. But in that kind of world, I get the feeling a little bit. I do get a little bit of a feeling that is based entirely off of the fact that the Witcher world kind of revolved around Geralt, whereas I don't think the Cyberpunk world is going to revolve around V. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
you made a point here, but as maybe it doesn't revolve around V, but a lot is going to revolve around the chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he is.
But
yeah.
But I think with the chip, even like, I don't think that the chip. I don't think it's like I don't think it's like the Holy Grail in the sense that it's like you bring it back and then everybody is suddenly everybody can be walking around immortal. I don't know if that's a thing that they would do or not. I think if it did unlock immortality, so to speak, then maybe it's just about you getting that access and becoming like the first one in several years that's managed to unlock that.
And we don't know if we're gonna have that chip for like the entirety of the game, right? It might just be like in the middle of the game, because I think what they were showing at E3 2019 was in the middle, I think they said, of the main story. So maybe we have it for a couple missions after, a couple missions before, and then we lose it somehow. We don't know if we're gonna have it the entire time.
Well, they said that Silverhand had an insane amount of lines.
And he's
So
connected
if
to the
Silverhand
chip.
is connected to the chip, then I guess that you have it for a long time.
That's true.
And also they stressed many times that you don't die during the game. So this, to me, sounds like you're going to have the chip the whole game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how can explain dying.
So how are they gonna? Yeah, exactly.
So then you wake up somewhere else, like in Outward, for example. You don't die; you just kind of wake up
You
somewhere.
just black out, I guess.
Well, yeah, for what I understood, seeing the descriptions of the demo at E3, you black out.
Yeah.
Then I wonder, how do you manage to wake up in Night City with all your cyberware and your money?
Yeah.
Especially your cyberware.
Well, I mean, with the whole cyberware thing, and I think where they're going with that, I'm just gonna put out a hypothesis. I think that unlike earlier versions, especially the Cyberpunk Red that's coming out, and definitely way different than 2020, I think that cyberware is probably more hard coded, and that it's going to be exceptionally difficult to just rip out somebody's cyberware and then use it for yourself. I think that as what we saw kind of with the flesh chop shop thing, it's like you have to have a really dedicated system of doing that, and still even then you can only use bits and pieces, not everything. So I think that's probably kind of the way that they'll keep that, because otherwise, again, it's like you drive down the road, you mow down like 50 people, and then you just like, it'd be like running out like Borderlands or what's another like loot heavy game where it's just like you run over everything and just suddenly there's loot everywhere and there's upgraded body parts just all over the street and you just walk over them and pick them all up. It's like I don't think we'll get that. I think that each piece is going to be like really very specific as to how it will be installed, and then it's not something that you just open up a menu, swap out a leg for a different leg, and then be done with that. I think that's something that's going to happen in Red because that's the kind of world that was in. But as things have like improved and repaired into 77, I think just generic like quick swaps is like, oh, look at that guy, he's got a cool hand, I'm just going to take that hand and put it on me, boom, done. And it's like, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's too much.
I see your point when you're talking about looting people, because obviously you would require some medtech skills to do so. But we already saw, I think they're going to keep that, the scavengers. And if not the scavengers, medtechs around the city just looting dead bodies. This can happen. It's Night City.
Yeah, but I think that's what we've seen in the older ones. I think the newer ones, with especially how they did kind of show off the scavengers, is like it's a long process. Like first they got to take the person, then they got to like slowly like strip out the pieces, and then they have to go in and like clean each piece, like probably go over every single chip in the entire piece to make sure that there's no like fail safe, backup, emergency switch, dead man switch, anything like that, because like that's something that I would imagine becomes quite prevalent, would be like dead switches. Like I mean, in the tech fields that I work in now, we have, it used to be all about tracing particular pieces of equipment and gear when they were stolen, but now it's gotten to the point where it's just no, we just brick it. So as soon as somebody steals something, and as soon as that piece of gear is like slated as, hey, this piece of gear is missing, then basically one like little entry into a website, and that thing is immediately bricked the next time it turns itself on. So anytime it turns itself on and gets any access to any kind of like router technology whatsoever, it bricks the entire system and it's just dead. And then it's just unusable. So I think you would encounter a lot of that in 77, where, and again, the scavengers have to go very thoroughly, very like meticulously clean each piece. So that's why I don't think Vias can just run around, pick up a few skills, and then just pop things on and off. I think it's something where it's like you have to go to your Ripper dock. You have to make sure that you're buying an actual useful piece of gear and not one that's been like contaminated or has some like dead switch that's going to turn on and fry you, right? So that'll be interesting. And like I said, it's just a theory. It's just
does that mean that we can maybe wake up in a bathtub with ice?
Mm-hmm.
Or wake up and someone is with a saw in her arm, like, oh yeah, I love your mantis blades.
Oh yeah, and then the new dialogue that they're showcasing flows in, and you have to decide in an instant what do you do. Like as soon as you wake up, someone is like, "Yeah, welcome," and then you're like, "Oh god."
I wonder if there's still like a timer on the dialogue options that you make, or is it kind of just more environmentally based off of what NPCs are doing around you, or do they still have that timer system that The Witcher 3 had?
I really
Where you
hope it's environmental, because I didn't like the
Exactly,
timer.
yeah, because you're just standing there like looking
Yeah.
at the dude, and the thing is like, ticking down. It seems kind of strips you of immersion a little bit.
Yeah, you can analyze every single option. You're like, oh, what if I do this? Then you don't have time,
Yeah, exactly.
so you gotta think fast, and that definitely increases the immersion a lot.
What breaks my immersion in dialogues is the little connection between the text and what the character ends up saying.
Oh, you don't like that?
No, because I sometimes don't see that relation, and then I think I'm going to say something, and I say a
That's
very
true,
different
actually.
thing.
That's true.
Like in Fallout 4, where you just have the sarcasm option, you don't know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
But at least you're sarcastic.
Yeah.
I mean, examples like in Detroit Become Human. You say it was like some reduced version of what you were going to say, and you end up saying something that has nothing to do.
Yeah. No, and
Or
that's
maybe
been
please go on.
that has been universally panned as a bad thing by the majority of gamers. So I worry that that they haven't bothered to add that. But then again, a fix came out for that for Fallout 4, I think less than a year after the game had been out. Is somebody went through and actually like wrote out all of the dialogue from each of the lines. And so again, I hate to say it because a lot of people don't like it when I say it, but mods will fix it. But it's true. It's true what you say, because it's not something that that gamers, I think, like a lot. But I think that the developers think that it makes the gameplay smoother and more open to people who are not hardcore RPG fans. But I just wonder when will the companies realize that hardcore RPGs are, they are successful because they're successful. Yes, the easier versions sell more, but I think you'd have those same sales if it was just a little bit harder. And just
I
kind of give
just
us more
don't
options.
understand how is it hardcore that the the thing that is written for you to understand what you said is closer to what you actually said.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
And
Yeah.
in fact, in Fallout 4, at least you knew the tone, because then you read it and you don't really know what tone is V going to use when you read it.
Mm. And that's
But
gonna be
maybe
like for situations difficult. If we say something bad and then you're like, oh, I have to load up this save, I have to load up this one.
Well, perhaps it's like perhaps it is like the argument that people make about the the old like type form questions that you could ask, like in Fallout 1 and in some other games. You actually open up a chat bar and you actually like, type in like something that you actually want to ask, and then they had this system that tried to recognize like keywords, like you could actually like type in Volt 13 and that would result in additional chat systems, but it was eventually abandoned because it was just gamers have bad spelling, and so you couldn't always like fix that. I don't know. I've seen one or two other games. I think Wasteland 2 and Wasteland 3 has that tech built in, so that'll be really interesting to see kind of where it goes from here.
Definitely.
And the life path system will give you a little bit of additional context, right? Because each of those things unlock different dialogue options, and it'll show next to the dialogue option that it unlocks what life path that relates to. So that gives a little bit more context, I guess. It's not really a fix for that overall thing, but at least there's that.
Depends
Well,
how
I
often.
absolutely adored. Sorry.
Depends how often it actually like pops up. Because that's important. If it's gonna be only, I mean, I've had like situations where it's only about only a couple of PCs and then you can use it. But if it's on most, then that's useful actually.
I think in the 50-minute demo it only happened once or twice. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
I was thinking that I loved that the dialogue option had one option that is draw your weapon. That this combined to the fact that you cannot really die, I think it's going to make my gameplay really slow.
You're just gonna be blacked out every 5 minutes.
Yeah, but the companions can. So maybe that's why they emphasized like the trailer with Jackie, because you can die, but your friends can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. The greatest difficulty is for Superman is keeping everybody he likes alive, right? So
that kind of gives you motivation to do stuff at least. But even if you don't die, you still close some doors in the game, or you just are hunted by different entities. So I don't know if it's.
I am sure that I'm going to see myself in this dialogue options when I don't know what to say, and I'm going to say, okay, fuck it.
Just draw a gun. Do.
Yes, I am sure that I'm going to do this more than once, because sometimes happens that I really don't know what to say. I mean, it happens in real life, so also happens in games. So I'm sure that this is going to be one option that I'm going to use.
Maybe Johnny will help you.
We're going to need a button. Johnny, please help.
So Simon Randall is asking, or stating that Pondsmith has confirmed that the life paths can open up more additional paths through certain quests, and that'll be a nightmare for doing guides on, because I've got to play through the game on each different life setting. And
what a hard work, man.
I wonder how early they're gonna send out review copies, just because they have all these like different paths.
Well, I'm sure if we were getting review copies that we probably shouldn't talk about that ahead of time. So we should probably not mention that.
Just in general. No, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah. That'll be interesting. I hope it's like give me like 3 weeks, please. It's gonna be so much. It's gonna be like like Kenneth is saying, it's gonna be like 150 hours per each one to kind of like max out, and you're gonna have to do that like at least a couple of different ways. And then if they throw in things like I could imagine them throwing in things like certain flirt options or certain like non-violent options in that you get through generalized chat, and conversation text may or may not rely on various augments that you have on your character. So
I'm just going to hold you right there. Andre, thank you for $9.99. Thank you so much for the dono. All right. Sorry about that.
yeah, no, thank you so much, Andre. We love you all the time.
Andre's always
we've,
always supporting the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Shout out to him.
He's got some mad skills coming up. He's going to be doing some musical stuff coming up, so it's going to be pretty cool. We're gonna cover that at some point here. So
Definitely.
yeah.
By the way,
Oh, keep going. No, I'm done.
talking about the music, about the synthwave and everything, I noticed how kind of, at least in my country, it wasn't really there, but now it's becoming more and more popular. So it's interesting that Cyberpunk is kind of going into countries that generally are kind of late with trends. So that's fun. I don't know about, Spain or Canada or anywhere else. But
Well,
Canada's
I
just
went
a-
to a Carpenter Brut gig last year.
oof. See, we don't get those in Bosnia, so. But
Yeah, Canada's just like a
and-
reflection of the United States. So we're like a baby United States with trends and stuff.
A baby United States.
Yeah, you like that one. You like that one, eh?
Yeah, I imagined a little baby singing, I'm sorry.
Oh, by the way, talking about the chip, who do you think is going to hunt us? Except, I think Arasaka is probably the first that's going to be going after us. But who do you think, like, other entities are going to be, like, the big ones? Obviously, I'm guessing that some small gangs are going to be trying to do something to us in the story. But what about the major players?
All of them? All of them? Because something like this, first thing that comes to mind, okay, Arasaka and Militech, but probably also your business machines, and more likely than not Biotechnica as well. So, yes, also the trauma team, it may even be interested in, well, no, because someone that doesn't die doesn't need their services.
Yeah, they would just be, we
Well,
have to
I think
destroy
Trauma
that.
Team was interested in the immortality chip in the CGI trailer because T-Bug is there and she has like a little device that opens up to accept the chip that Male V is gonna give to Dex, and it does say Trauma Team on it.
Yes,
I
but I
think
thought
we're
that she needed advanced medical equipment to extract it, and she somehow found that, well, found, quote unquote, found this to be used. I didn't understand it as the trauma team was directly involved in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was just a piece of equipment from there, but
But I'm guessing if
I
you
mean,
have
they
like,
would be interested in an immortality chip as a high-end insurance company. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
not really, because they charge a lot for a minute, and if they are interested in it, they would be interested in destroying it.
Exactly.
Because imagine the rich people getting to this technology, they
Mhm.
won't need trauma team anymore.
Yeah.
Of course they would. Of course they would. I think. Well, I don't know. Maybe this is one of these things where it's like I think that it's just something that they add on to like the various packages that they offer. It's like there's this package where it's like the bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and then ultra whatever, and then they charge like, because again you can always make more money if you have a solution to something. You just charge them the money that it would have costed them for you to do everything that you would have normally have done in the
Yes,
process
but
of it.
what would they do? They would refuse to give these services to megacorps that can replicate the chip? Because if I was Trauma Team and I had this chip as a service, I wouldn't give it to Biotechnica, for instance, because they could be able
They'd
to
probably
replicate
just
that.
destroy it, like you said.
or
They'd buy it
it
out and
depends
privately
destroy
on-
it.
somewhere. Like
Well,
secured.
yeah, it depends on whether or not it can be replicated, or if you can control the outcome of it, right? Because even in the sense of like, even in the sense of like, what was the cyberpunky show that was on Netflix a little while ago? For some reason,
Altered Carbon.
Yeah.
So in Altered Carbon, people still had bodyguards, even though they even though they were getting uploaded, right? they still traveled around with some generalized security or safety, because yeah, just because you won't die from torture doesn't mean that you don't want to be tortured. It's like,
Well, I think that it's more for kidnap, but the trauma team won't do anything if you're kidnapped, unless your life is in danger.
Yeah. But even in Altered Carbon only the richest ones have the ability to copy and back up themselves.
yeah, and I think that that's what we're probably going to see. So, or what we would potentially see given this particular circumstance. So,
Well, this is something that Al Cunningham invented. So yes, if Al Cunningham is in the game, which is not speculation, she is in the game, then more probably than not, we can see this of uploading and downloading, because she had more than enough time to make something to download.
And then also, if we have like the corpo kind of a life path, what if we just in the end say like, oh, I'm going to give the chip to this corporation or something, actually side with them,
You want to sell them,
or
the
something
chip.
like that. Yeah.
Well,
like
it
if
seems
he
like
doesn't
Militech
care.
actually. It seems like Militech actually made the chip, because if have you guys seen in the CGI trailer? If you guys zoom in really really close to the chip when it's in Jackie's hand, it actually has I think it has a old school Militech logo on it.
Really?
So yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in your video, but I found odd that this logo was used, the old one. I mean, because
know,
they
yeah.
are using a new Militech logo. In
But
fact,
is that what it looked like to you though? Because I mean, you would know the best.
yes,
that
yes, it looks like it. Let's say it looks like, but I mean, it's super zoomed in, so
It's
I
hard to
am
see.
not totally sure.
Maybe it was made pre-new logo. They were like,
That
okay.
would be a very old one.
Oh, yes. But it will explain. It would be interesting to actually see the origin of the chip, like actually who was responsible for that, and maybe that person starts hunting us as well. Like, hey, it's my chip.
Yeah. And Linnea did say it passed from hand to hand, which was the reason why Silverhand had, different color hair or whatever she said last time. So, it obviously it's passed from hand to hand, like she said.
Someone that inserted the chip dyed Silverhand's hair color. Actually, a funny concept.
The first thing that they did is go to the hair parlor.
Yeah. Okay.
I gotta say that one of the things that I'm interested in, very very much so, would be the and what I think the story is really really cool, how they've built it this way to kind of revolve around the chip, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen. Did anybody see Dead Man's Gun, the television series? Probably not. This is probably a little bit before everybody's time. So Dead Man's Gun told of this gun that would basically you'd be able to kill anybody who challenged you, and it's based in the Old West, right? But the thing is that you were always brought down by something else, by like your greed or your your desires or something like that would end up being the cause of your death, even though you had this gun that could kill anybody and you'd be super super impossible to stop, but it would always result in your death if you couldn't control your vices, kind of thing. And this is kind of what I feel that the chip might be doing. It's like sure, you're immortal, but at what cost, right? And then just one more little tack on thing for old television's sake. Even immortality can be a great boon to business in the right hands. After all, just look at the cues from Star Trek.
The rich would probably just jump onto it to get it, and would cost a fortune, so someone would make a lot of these.
So maybe it's just the game is going to be really short if you can sell it in the start.
like Far Cry in the beginning, you wait and then you just end the game. It's like in Cyberpunk, you just go, you want to buy a chip? Credits roll.
Credits roll.
Talat is saying in the comments. Oh no, Timothy is saying in the comments, the chip is almost certainly based on Soul Killer. That's one theory. Because the Soul Killer is the opposite ability, the one of extracting a soul and killing the body.
Mm.
So one of the theories was that it was reverse engineer on the Soul Killer, but I don't know because maybe they have this chip in one hand, and more than being based on the Soul Killer is something that was invented to counter the Soul Killer.
Mm. I actually had a subscriber tell me that because we visit Alt Cunningham, that it's connected to her in a way, and then I'm like, okay, so maybe it's just that we're asking for her help because she might be the only one who knows what we're going to do with it.
Makes
Oh,
sense, makes sense. And by the way, is a lot of people are asking about this rumor with Lady Gaga and if she's gonna be Alt Cunningham. And some months ago, it was officially denied by the Project Red people that Lady Gaga was in the game.
no. It was
Nope.
officially denied that Lady Gaga was
Was
not
in
in
Poland.
Poland.
No, it
Not
was
that she wasn't in the game.
it was denied that she was in the game.
No, because I looked at this and I read very, very carefully. The other thing that they denied is that she's not Alt Cunningham. So I think that's what you're thinking of. Is that she's not Alt Cunningham. And my theory has always been that of course she's not Alt Cunningham because she's probably one of the other characters that I'm thinking of.
What other character are you thinking of?
Izzy.
Best
Who?
ISIS.
There's,
Oh, best ISIS.
yeah,
Did you
the
say
superstar.
I'm not sure if I heard you. Did you say
I heard
best
busy.
ISIS?
No, the
Oh, Lizzie Wizzy.
yes, Lizzie
Ah.
Wizzy,
Oh,
the
yes,
musician. Because if you wanted to have somebody like Lady Gaga show up in your game, where she may or may not be an actually very, very good at doing audio lines. You see, that's the thing with, particular other famous people is like sure you can get them in, but if the role doesn't fit them or if they're just not really good with their lines, um, you know, uh, greatest respect for and I can't remember his name right now, of course, but the guy who plays Tyrion Lannister
Peter
in Game of
Dinklage,
Thrones. Peter Dinklage, thank you. So Peter Dinklage, great actor, great actor. However, in the Destiny game, just didn't fit that role that they gave him, and the director on that didn't utilize his skills in the right way. So you always want to make sure that when you're getting somebody for a particular role, that you get the right role for them. And having somebody like Lady Gaga come in and do a very, very short or somewhat small role, as in like she's got maybe 20 lines and does a song, that might be something. Could be something.
I think if she has a bigger role than that, then they're adding too many celebrities at that point. Like we have Keanu.
I think a small role like that fits well, it also fits her schedule. She's incredibly busy. She doesn't. She's not like Keanu Reeves. She doesn't have 22 days, 15 days to like fly to Poland and record for that long. She might have had the ability to come in, do one thing in one afternoon and record half a dozen lines, right? Two dozen lines tops. But that would make the most sense to me, and that's why I'm saying is like, obviously the whole tweet and the other stuff, it might be coincidental. It might be them just taking advantage of a silly tweet that she made. Could be, but the fact that they did spring Keanu Reeves on us, I mean, come on, it's
Well,
And
it's
they do everything
up to
for a
me.
reason.
It's up to me that if they have another expensive celebrity in the game that they didn't introduce her
At
already.
E3, yeah.
because again, maybe they didn't need to, or maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they want to save that for the follow up, or maybe they want to save that for like a surprise thing, because that would have been one thing. You know what another thing would be good for motivating the hype around the game is 2 or 3 weeks before the launch. And this rolls into why they wouldn't have mentioned anything about it, because say she did a song, right? Say she recorded a song, and say she released that song this year, but the game's not being released this year. So would she get would she place in the top charts this year if the song was released this year, versus capitalizing on all of the attention and all of the replays and all of the YouTube videos and reactions and all that stuff done if it came out, if she announced, if she dropped the song 1 or 2 weeks before the game dropped next year. Then
Yes, but do you
next
believe
year-
that really dropping a song on YouTube has more attention than E3?
No. Obviously she's not just dropping it on YouTube. She's dropping it on radio and everywhere. And then that's going to sell more. That's going to sell more of this game to other people than her just putting it out there. In 2018, it's a how do I explain it a little bit better? So it's a marketing thing. If you have a song, if you have a project, if you have a music video, you want to drop it in. It's just like games. You don't want to drop it in a busy time where you're up against a lot of stiff competition. You want to drop it when the time is right. And in this particular instance, if this song had been recorded 3-4 years ago when that tweet was originally made, and they just sat on it for all this time and then popped it out and then did marketing behind it, that's a brilliant business maneuver. And if you had combined her appearance with Keanu Reeves' appearance, both of those things would water down each other. Like you want one thing, then you want the next thing. And CDPR has been very, very good with this. Please, like look at how they've been doing it. It's every time there's a lull in the conversation about Cyberpunk, something drops. Some leak gets out. We've gotten leaks that I really wonder if it's like, did I just get this because I asked for it, or did I get this because they really wanted some news this week and they wanted this to get out? And you can look at multiple bunches of the leaks, multiple of their interviews. Every time something's quiet, something gets out. And in this case, this would be like, no, they would not have dropped Keanu Reeves and Lady Gaga at the same thing at E3. That would have been ridiculous, and it would have been
Overkill.
stupid.
That's overkill.
But one thing that makes me wonder is Keanu Reeves has a total and absolute acceptance from the players and from the fan base. I haven't heard a single bad comment about Keanu Reeves being on the game. But half of the people don't want Lady Gaga in the game.
Well, they say they don't want Lady Gaga in the game because they're thinking of Lady Gaga being in the game in a weird way. And if you had her come on stage and do that exact same presentation, the exact same presentation that Keanu did, just walks out, says a bunch of buzzwords, and then literally that's it. Like literally that's it. If you had anybody else do that, probably wouldn't have gone over very well. You have to match what you're doing with the crowd. And again, I'm still not convinced that she's in the game, but the argument for why she would be in the game is a lot stronger when you look at it from their business marketing standpoint than you're looking at it from like them trying to just make more people come and click on the dang thing. Like it makes more sense if they have prepared for this in this particular way.
They hinted at Keanu Reeves like way back in the day too when they retweeted the Matrix 20th anniversary, right? And they don't do stuff on their social media just for the sake of it. So why would they respond to Lady Gaga in that way? And kind of, you know what I mean? Like they hinted at Keanu Reeves in the past. So maybe this is in the same vein, them responding to Lady Gaga. It could be. It's a possibility.
There's this theory that they actually wanted to divert the attention for people to not know about Keanu Reeves and not suspect about Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense as well.
Because we've been mentioning Lady Gaga every single podcast.
Right,
it's like
right.
we didn't have any
sense.
clue about Keanu. At least I didn't have. Like zero.
Well, I didn't. Totally zero. I believe that no one expected Keanu Reeves. And it's a theory that actually this, excuse me, this leak about Lady Gaga was invented to protect the secret of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that's possible.
It would fit the marketing plan to be like this corporation to be the size,
And then people are automatically gonna think Lizzie Wizzy was Lady Gaga, so I guess that is a good diversion.
God damn it, they did it. Well,
yeah, and actually, would not only didn't know that Keanu Reeves was going to be in the game. We didn't even know that Johnny Silverhand was going to be in the game.
Yes. It's like double revelations in like
Yeah.
1.5 seconds. Yeah, because everyone were like, what I've seen from reactions, like, oh, it's Johnny Silverhand. it's Keanu Reeves. Because it was one shock after another, but they struck gold with this. The memes, the mentions, the trends, the hashtags. The Keanu Reeves brought like the entire spotlight of the gaming industry and even the mainstream industry onto their game. So it was probably one of the best investments in a video game.
And they have memes. They have memes about it now. They're like big Keanu, little Keanu. So it was perfect.
And you are breathtaking. That was actually totally unintended.
Yes. Exactly.
And then it became a sensation. God damn. But no, they were winners.
Best things always happen by accident.
Oh, definitely. But we talk about the cosplay because there is the official cosplay contest from CD Projekt. They can get like what, $14,000 if you win. Something like that.
Yeah, $40,000 if you win, yes.
It's gonna be interesting to see how much community and what they actually do, but it's interesting for the game because you also raise hype that way. Because you're gonna have a bunch of Cyberpunk characters walking around, these conventions. So it's a plus for them, honestly.
The bad part is that they organized it on summer, so I was looking to add this Arasaka security officer uniform with love in my eyes, but for summer, please, I'm going to die if I do so.
Well, we'll see what people are going to come up with.
The officer from the concept art, is that which one you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. It looks rad. It's amazing.
That one's awesome. Yeah, that one is awesome.
Because my other option is the trauma team, but then again, it's the same exactly.
Actually, in that concept art, just going back to celebrities for like a brief second, the lady in that concept art looks like a celebrity, but I forget her name. She looks so familiar.
She looks like Tilda Swinton to me.
Yes. That's who it was.
And I can already see a website. Tilda's is in Cyberpunk.
New rumor.
I wouldn't complain. I totally love her.
Ooh,
in fact, I wouldn't even complain if she was Johnny Silverhand.
I would.
Well, now that we have Keanu Reeves, I mean, obviously Keanu Reeves is the thing, but I mean, if we didn't have Keanu Reeves and suddenly instead of Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand was Tilda Swinton, because I believe that Mike Pondsmith said that the original idea for Johnny Silverhand was David Bowie.
Yeah.
And she is the closest thing to David Bowie that we can have nowadays. So
that is true.
Yes. Ooh. That would be dope. I wouldn't mind that, honestly.
Sorry, back to the cosplay.
Yeah,
section.
back to the cosplay. So I'm definitely interested to see what people are gonna come up with. What do you think are gonna be the most popular costumes? V?
I'd assume so.
What's the most lazy costume of all the game?
Arasaka security.
Maybe
put on a black shirt.
Have you seen the helmet?
But the rest of it is pretty standard. You just wear what's it called? Yeah, it's just a helmet that's super detailed, right?
Yes, and also some details in the rest of the uniform. But yeah, the problem there is the helmet. Actually, the woman that goes with him is quite more simpler dress to make.
Or the Militech bodyguard. It's just like a brown shirt and then like camel pants and boots.
It's like it's like have you guys seen what's the name in English? Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
The director always says every Halloween on Twitter that people should appreciate that he created the laziest Halloween costume.
True. Oh yeah, you just put on a white shirt with a little bit of red and then that's it. Take a baseball bat.
Make it the most popular. Yes, Sandra Dorset for the win. That's the greatest. That's the greatest cosplay for summer. I believe that you're not going to be too warm.
But I'm really wondering what are people gonna do, because obviously there's gonna be Johnny Silverhand, cosplay. So I'm wondering, like, to what extent people will go with the prosthetic of like the arm of the metal and everything. That's gonna be fun to see, because that requires a lot of engineering.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Don't recommend somebody cuts their arm off for that, but
Well, no, I don't think they'll do that. But it's not. It's not. I don't think it's as hard as you're thinking, because there's a lot of like Iron Man cosplay out there that's really really well done, and all you got to do is basically just make a continuous, long arm glove, and then just kind of like make it really really tight. Just don't make it too tight. You don't want to cut off circulation, because that would be bad. I was gonna make a David Bowie joke, but I think it's probably a little too late now, so that's fine. But yeah.
All right. What else? What else do we have? Do we have any questions? If you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them down.
There was also the Cyberpunk Red characters that were revealed. So maybe after a couple questions, we can talk about that. If you guys have seen that.
I think we can talk about that right now. Let the comments come in first.
Dr. Kuro is gonna win that cosplay. Yeah, she does some pretty good cosplays.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what all gets involved in that. And again, it's like the brilliance of them doing this right now. Obviously, it's like, yes, hello, congratulations. I cannot wait to see Lizzie Wizzy's cosplays. Yeah, that will be
chromed out.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. I hope people don't get sick because of all the chrome paint.
But yeah, I was gonna say that seems easier. You just body paint yourself, right?
Yeah, with the chrome paint, and most of them are like there's some that are really bad, but there's some that are really really good. You just have to like hopefully not sweat too much, but yeah. Body paint is fun. Not from personal experience, just throwing that out there. Then we had I'm trying to find a couple of these questions here, and the chat always moves so fast, which is great. Thanks for popping in the chat, and also
I'm also going to share the new characters on the chat. Let me just paste this. So what do you guys think about the new characters? They're definitely, like, the illustrations look nice. They're definitely, like, if you look at, like, Cyberpunk 2020, like, references, like, the images and everything, and now it definitely changed, like, the entire style, and of course the technology, got more advanced. We have a 40.
I still love the rocker the best for like the style. It's so much fun, but the Netrunner is also pretty cool too. So
yeah, I think tech was surprising. It looks pretty cool in relation. I thought tech was gonna be, kind of similar to 2020 and take a backseat to the other ones. But I think tech looks awesome comparatively to the other ones.
Oh yeah, definitely. But they had like 50-ish years to work on
true.
it.
I'd imagine something would change in those 50 years.
I like what they say for a solo. It's mover. His gun is for hire. He might work for a corp today, a fixer tomorrow, and a local church the day after. Everyone needs a fighter in the world of Cyberpunk Red. So
That's a good one.
And also like the now the fluidity of class, so you can actually switch mid game to something else. That's also opened up to new possibilities, especially for the games, like for parties.
Yeah. They also have the stats down there, right, for Cyberpunk Red. If you scroll down a little bit, I think a lot of those transfer over to 2077, if I'm not mistaken. I remember someone saying something about body, which people were talking about strength, but that's actually called body.
Yeah, toughness and strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, also intelligence. I'm just gonna do one playthrough, just lower the intelligence to 0, like just out of curiosity to get the best.
Just a dumb grunt.
And you're like, trip, and then
you're like drooling from the mouth.
Imagine how much Johnny is gonna be pissed. Like, I got stuck with this guy. Really? How did you get the chip? Stupid.
You just found it on the street.
Oh, imagine that. You wake up and like, oh, what's this? And then there's Johnny. God damn it.
Well, maybe we have some minimum stats.
Oh yeah, but like I want to see the difference. I legit want to see a difference in dialogue, especially when it comes to intelligence. I don't know why. I'm kind of obsessed with Fallout when you just lower the intelligence and how people react to you. Like,
Well, actually, in this new Obsidian game, the Outer Worlds,
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so thick every day more. In the Outer Worlds, you have this stupid playthrough. With Intelligence Zero, you have opened new dialogue options that are really really stupid.
well,
I don't know if it was with Intelligence Zero or less
Mm.
than a number. I don't remember. But yes, you have this stupid playthrough. You can say the most stupid thing all of the time. I think
That's
I
awesome.
truly believe I'm going to play it.
yeah, they said like it's gonna have like 30 to 40 hours of gameplay, but they count on replayability because obviously it's going to be focused a lot around your character and how you do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have a lot
Yeah,
of
it's going to be a short
RPGs.
game. But...
We have a lot of RPGs coming out. It's interesting, because at one point they kind of lost their way, in my opinion. Like you had games that are RPGs, but they were nothing like that. Like roaming around the map, collecting 10, I don't know what, 10 battles is not an RPG. not
Well,
a
I'm
true.
going to say sorry.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm going to say a very unpopular opinion, but I'm almost glad that Cyberpunk is not out this year, but next. Because obviously, when we pick Cyberpunk, we're going to forget of a lot of games, and this fall, some games that look really good are going to be out in the market. So I'm kind of a little glad that Cyberpunk comes out next year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Outer Worlds is this year, right?
Yes.
2019.
I think in
What
November.
month?
Let me see.
November.
Yeah, it's this fall. If you're on Epic or the Windows Store, unfortunately, Windows Store. I mean, buy it there. There's some talk about there's some talk about them basically Microsoft basically giving keys for Steam if you buy it on the Windows Store. There's some talk about that, and they kind of alluded to that kind of a generalized concept at E3. Can you imagine the hilarity if Epic had gone so far as to buy it as an exclusive and to rope it away from Steam Store as much as possible, but then Steam having made a backdoor deal with Microsoft to allow them to port the copy over onto the Steam library from theirs.
Well,
And you
why don't we go
basically
back to Cyberpunk, because I think that I already talked too much about Epic this month.
Her head's gonna explode if she talks about Epic
Oh.
anymore.
we do have a question though. Timothy.
I was going to answer while we found out.
Oh yeah. Please do.
Yeah. Nidmar says, wait, there's law on the Valentinos. Yes, in the source book of a Night City, page 30 more or less, you're going to find the law of the Valentinos. They were a poser gang, but they most probably changed for 2077. You can go on. I just wanted to answer that.
So Timothy says, do you think Jackie's death is guaranteed or just one possibility? I think that was discussed a lot. But I think like for the trailer, generally just shows you like the possibility of your actions, but it was kind of too defined in my opinion. Like you actually, like you wake up on the scrapyard, so something needs to happen. But we don't know like if we took Jackie to the hospital, if he actually died. So what do you guys think?
I don't think he did, because if you look at the time in the CGI trailer, it's only 30 minutes difference between. It shows the time again in Dexter's room or whatever, and it's only 30 minutes after Jackie dies when he's smashing the screen, and you can see the time on the, what's that combat cab called? I know they had a name for it. Desmond or something. They have like a name for the combat cab, the dude who's like the AI that runs
the
the
British
combat.
AI.
Yeah. So
I only can think about Taxi, so because it reminds me a lot of Johnny Taxi of Total Recall.
Yeah. I think it
Page
starts with a
55. Yes. Okay, sorry, I said 40. Sorry, please go on.
Yeah, but
No, I was done.
yeah, but now talking about the taxis, do you think they're actually gonna be like something you call in combat? I know you're gonna be able to call your car, your vehicle, by
Mhm.
like you called Roach.
Mhm.
Well,
Glitches.
I demand that there is a joke about the Knight Rider. Or maybe a David Hasselhoff cameo or something like that, or a joke about David Hasselhoff.
Post it on the forums. See what kind of
On
response
Tumblr.
you get.
Question. I have
Oh yeah.
a respectful suggestion. Make a joke about the Knight Rider.
Uh,
Kit, I need your kit.
Kenneth
Yeah,
also
something like that.
asked about. I have a dumb question since I never played the RPG. Who are the chrome-looking cyborgs in a taxi in the trailer? The chrome-looking cyborgs?
The Brainiacs, they look like Brainiacs. I don't think they're chrome though.
Yeah, well,
They
You
just
mean
look
Yes,
like
like
super augmented.
yeah. In the first trailer, they were Brainiacs. They are the only booster gang that works with a mega corporation, or at least they were in 2020. Go figure what happens in 2077. I am so sorry for my cat always meowing in the background, but
We thought it was a baby earlier. It sounded like a baby.
now he's a cat.
Okay.
oh, by the way, are you?
what's the difference?
that I don't need to feed the cat. I just put the food there, and she picks it by herself.
Who said we don't have a guest on tonight's podcast? Come on, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to ask her questions?
It's like, do you have any inside information?
Meow.
oh, by the way,
Is
are
that a
you?
yes? Lizzie Wizzy confirmed. Lady Gaga confirmed. Put it out there, boys.
Meow.
CD Projekt just shut down the podcast. like DMCA, bam, no. yeah. By the way, one more thing: street racing. I don't know if you discussed it last week, but I'm kind of excited about that. I wonder if we're gonna be able
Yeah.
to get some unique cars, some custom cars from just people like pink slips after we get them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that she confirmed that last week on the podcast, and that's really cool. And there's hints that there is even more, more mini games on their way, which which we've been saying for a while. It's like we know that they've been working on several of them. So
Mm.
yeah, so I'm really excited about that because I really want a really one or two really good bar games, so that you can kind of go to the bar and have some fun. So
Well, the mini games we know about, like the shooting range and the boxing arena, they actually act as a learning speed buff, so you can kind of acclimatize your skills if you want to switch your playstyle.
mhm.
So if you want to switch from a shooting playstyle to like a melee playstyle, you just go to the boxing arena or whatever and train your melee skills.
It actually gives you
Get a
purpose
speed
to do
buff.
that stuff.
Exactly.
Also some cool rewards. Do you think the
I think they have like tournaments and stuff. So.
yeah? Do you think the system will be similar? Well, obviously you're gonna be fighting some dudes, and then there's gonna be the one final whatever that you're gonna fight, like in The Witcher, because you were like building your way through to all of these like fighters to get to the last one. That would be
I actually
definitely.
I liked the fist fights in Witcher. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
I was garbage at them, but they were fun.
I still remember the first Witcher and those fist fights. Like hit the button at the right time. God damn it. No, I can't wait to see how fluid that's gonna be, especially like with the movement, because obviously you have to like block and dodge. So I'm really wondering about that, how responsive that's gonna be, how fluid, because that's for me that's gonna be make it or break it. But I don't know.
Because that's a hard thing to implement, right? First person melee. I don't know what games have done that well in the past, but I think that's a struggle for them, obviously, right? Because their combat is something that is kind of universally, people are saying it's kind of the one sore spot that people have like pointed out, the gunplay and the combat. So that makes it even harder when it's melee.
Yeah, and also like the feedback has to be good. Like if you hit someone, I wonder if their face is gonna change if you start hitting someone and then they go all blue or red or something like that.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
I don't know to what extent though. So do we need
It's
more?
just like
Yes, there's a question here that I wanted to answer. Anime Otaku 2 says, what do people think of Janelle Monáe as Lizzie Wizzy? If Janelle Monáe was Lizzie Wizzy, you would see me jumping as I jumped with Keanu Reeves as Johnny Silverhand. I mean, Janelle Monáe would be a much better fit for Cyberpunk than Lady Gaga thousands of times because she's Janelle Monáe. She's very controversial, but not the easy controversies. I mean, she's the kind of singer that makes people think, and also makes people think so much that makes also people feel uncomfortable. So yes, I would absolutely love her in the game.
I don't even know who that is.
Really? Oh, I'll make you discover her. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Neon here.
We've been living
Okay,
under rocks
she's the
apparently.
heir of Prince.
Really?
Yes.
Oh shit! I gotta look her up now.
How do you?
Yes, you should.
How do you spell that?
The heir of Prince. You know Prince?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Here, I'll spell it in
So-
Discord.
Yes, I'll look for these. I think she made the film
Ah,
with her girlfriend. This I can't remember her name. The woman in the last Men in Black.
Men in Black International.
The last Men in Black with Thor, and the woman with whose name I can't remember. She was also in
Rodriguez,
Westworld.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh my god.
No, it's not
No,
Michelle
No.
Rodriguez.
Her name is Tessa Thompson.
Thank you. Yes, Tessa Thompson. So she did a film with Tessa Thompson that is very interesting. I'll put it on Discord.
Okay. Now this is definitely interesting, especially when you
So
discover
wait,
a new
why-
artist.
Why would she fit so well as Lizzie Wizzy?
Because she's very controversial. She fits the description of Lizzie Wizzy that we had when the project did this explanation of the trailer. And she's not controversial for easy controversies like going naked to a place, which is an easy controversy. She really has lyrics that have really deep meaning, and the lyrics make a lot of people uncomfortable. And this is so cyberpunk. She really pushes some limits.
Hey, I just want to throw out there that showing up naked to a place can send a really strong message too, you know.
Yes, but I meant like the controversies. Oh my god, this singer/actor is wearing little clothes, and that's it. I mean, not like a message. In the old times, so in the old days of, she was on all the magazines all the time just because she was naked and or wearing very little clothes.
I think that's kind of overused now. That sort of controversy, that sort of drama. Like, I don't know.
Yes, and yeah, I'm going to make you discover Janelle Monáe, and she's going to make you feel really uncomfortable, and that's good. That's good, because she makes people think, and that's
Yeah,
that's she has this revolutionary edge of cyberpunk. That's why I think she would fit way more than Lady Gaga. But Lady Gaga is a celebrity; not everybody knows Janelle Monáe.
But does Janelle Monáe have a good voice? She's an
Yes.
artist, right? Yeah.
Yes, she's a very good
I'll
singer.
check her out after this.
I almost actually started the video. I'm like, God damn it! No, I'm streaming. Instant demonetization.
Demonetize.
Yeah.
She's done a concept album based on transhumanism. Yes, that was the film that I was talking about. There's a film on this concept album.
That's sick.
Sorry.
No worry.
I don't think your cat wants Janelle Monáe in the game.
Yes. Did you want to ask her any questions to today's guest?
Chat, you got any questions for
For the
MadQueen's
cat?
cat? The knower of all answers.
Does she think that Dolph Lundgren would be a great Morgan Blackhand?
What do you think, Hudas? No, she doesn't.
I wonder if they're gonna have at least something they're going to appear for I don't know, for like one scene I would be more than happy. I think that
Did you guys
yep.
did you guys see Love, Death and Robots, the Netflix series?
Yeah.
Not yet.
The second episode cats have taken over the world. It's pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
You should definitely see that.
That's a great series.
It's a minor spoiler warning. It's kind of obvious as they're leading up to it, but yeah, it's kind of a minor spoiler. So sorry, minor spoiler.
I still have pending Good Omens,
Mm-hmm.
and I read the book like I don't know 10 times maybe.
There's a lot of like really cyberpunky things in Love, Death, and Robots.
It's also
Yes,
Black.
I've been told so.
Mm-hmm. There's also a lot in the new Archer series too, so it's kind of more spacey though. But yeah, that's something I'm also looking forward to. So yeah, other than that, yeah,
We've been live for 75 minutes, damn. And we're getting into this stage where there is now this abundance of, not abundance, sorry, wrong word. There's this lack of news. So now you have to do the old tactic and dig up stuff. When do you think we're gonna have some more info? I think getting closer to PAX and Gamescom.
Well, in PAX we're going to have the demo.
Yes.
yeah. We're gonna be getting a few more interviews before then. Then we're gonna be getting. It's probably going to be a leak at some point will come out about some of the skills, most likely. That's probably going to happen about a week or so right before Gamescom, and then we'll get that clip in the actual gameplay that shows us the skill tree. And then we're going to get then that's going to launch shortly after that. That's when they're going to launch the big campaign. Like the ads and the rolling, the rolling stuff to try and get as many pre-orders in as possible. So we'll see how that works out.
I know that pre-orders are doing really well. It's already like the most top seller on every major launcher, on GOG, on Steam. So it's selling really well. For everyone asking, Gamescom is from August 20th to August 24th. Is it? Yeah, I think
And then PAX is just right after that, I believe. Maybe a week after, so.
They have to show something crazy even on Gamescom, I guess. I mean, because on PAX we're getting the gameplay, but before that,
yeah,
there has to be something.
I wonder how much they're gonna change for that demo.
Yeah.
Because we asked Leia that last week, but obviously she couldn't really tell us at that point, but.
I'm guessing they're going to work on it like the previous demo, because I know it was different, and MadQueen saw it, so it was different.
Well, I would love to see the new character creation system on Gamescom.
Yeah.
Because past at E3 they didn't show anything at all. I mean, it looked like they were already working on the new character creation system, and also past E3, happened the same. At E3 we saw a very small piece of the character creation system. We were more explained than shown, and then at Gamescom they got to see it properly. So maybe with luck we will see the same this year.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I'm kind of wondering, like, okay, E3 was this whole introduction into this changed world, introducing Johnny Silverhand, and then Gamescom would be like, okay, this is what you saw, let's explain a couple of things. I think that would satisfy people a lot. That, the Gamescom presentation is a bit like, let's say, 10 minutes, a bit more in depth of some of the things, like the creation and I don't know.
You guys think it's too early for like maybe another short trailer? Because like the trailer that they showed gameplay wise for E3 2019 was like 40 seconds. I think it'd probably be a little bit too preemptive for a trailer, so maybe screenshots.
Well, if they are showing the demo at PAX, that is exactly shortly after Gamescom. I don't believe that we'll have new trailer.
Yeah,
we will get. I believe we will get a launch. Like we're talking like cinematic trailer. I think we will get a launch cinematic trailer. That'll probably come out as well. But right now they've been like E3 was about basically bringing this to the hardcore fans, and then later on they're gonna try and bring this to as many general fans as they possibly can.
Witcher also had a couple of CGI trailers, so I'm guessing, as you said, the launch one maybe like sometimes December wise we could get something, but I don't know, but still launch is definitely gonna be there. All right, I think we've been going on for 80 minutes. Do any more questions, or should we slowly wrap this up? I don't know.
I think we
Wrap it
can
up.
wrap this up.
Yeah, anyone else has to say for the end? We good?
No, I think we're good.
All right. So, thank you everyone for joining the 14th episode of the Cyberpunk 2077 Community Podcast. Next week, we have Mad Queen or Triple Sleek?
It's no triple S maybe.
Oh,
Side?
is it really?
I thought it
I
was.
think it's you and after that me, but I'm not
Okay.
sure. Maybe it's me.
I thought it was you, but because I think we're
Who usually goes after me, because me and Last Known switched because he was away last week.
Yes. Who went before?
No,
I
no,
think-
it is us. It is us next week, and
Yeah.
next week we are right now trying to secure a guest for next week, which will be pretty cool. So I've actually been speaking with the guest during the podcast because of course why not? So I don't have a. Let me just check to see if he's
Is it Lady Gaga?
confirmed. It is not Lady Gaga, and we
Damn
have
it.
not confirmed yet, but we are aiming to confirm this one very particular person. We also had on our podcast yesterday, we had Andrew Alliance. He's the young Haitian fellow who was at the event, the one that Mike Pondsmith talked about. It was very, very, very interesting interview with him. He has a podcast that's called the Show Radio at Andrew. And if you want to check that out, that'd be good. He would love to come on the podcast. However, he is indisposed at this time every week, so we won't be able to get him on here unless we do like a pre-recorded thing. But definitely recommend people to check out that video on his YouTube on his Twitter profile, which I will link right now, because he had this really, really interesting conversation. It's really gone viral, over 100,000 I believe it's over 100,000 retweets, but let me just
Ooh. Damn.
it's definitely out there. It's been viewed 101,000 times is the amount of views that it's gotten on Twitter. So really cool, really awesome, really, really good to see. Just generally speaking, great guy, great podcast, and then we had him on yesterday. So
Someone's
I think
keyboard
it's
is
burning
going.
my ears.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. I thought I was muted. I was muted.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
he would love to come on here. He definitely sends his love to the whole community for Cyberpunk, definitely for CDPR. He's really looking forward to it still. So yeah, that was really cool. But we are going to be bringing in as many guests, and thanks to that, because it was actually a couple of the people in the community chat who were trying to get Andrew onto this podcast that let him get onto our previous podcast. So absolutely, thanks for the suggestions. Please continue to suggest people, continue to reach out, because we want to get on as many people as we can onto this podcast. And like I said, Andrew would have shown up on this podcast, but he is indisposed at this time every week. So unfortunately, we can't get that. We are currently in talks to get Paris and a couple others on as well. So just follow us on Twitter. Every time we start talking to people, you'll kind of see it, and then just kind of keep giving that the thumbs up and the bump, and that usually will end up helping quite a fair bit. So yeah.
Yeah, all the links down below, so we can check out each member of the Cyberpunk family on their Discord and YouTube. So feel free to do it and follow them up on Twitter, and we definitely are looking to all the upcoming guests. So yeah, I'm guessing that's it for this podcast. Thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you all next week, next Sunday on the Triple S League channel. And good
Peace.
night and goodbye.